Hello and welcome to Fresh Face One Shots. My name is Joey,
And I'm Jacob.
and I'm so excited today.
Yes.
I mean, as we mentioned before on these videos, all of our titles that we're now covering on the channel are being stopped for this. But also, I'm really excited for this because it's your first DC event, like as it happens. You're reading this as it comes out, and
As it happens, we
Yeah.
are covering this DC summer event for the Dawn of DC, Night Terrors.
Night Terrors, yes, I'm so excited. Not just because, once again, it's your first, live DC event as it comes out, but also it's Joshua Williamson doing horror, and it sounds really cool, and it is really cool. And I read the issue we're covering today, Night Terrors First Blood, which is the official starting point for the event. But I also read a couple of the tie-ins. We're not going to be covering all those on the channel. Obviously, we're only going to be covering 2 issues of the tie-ins throughout these 2 months through July and August. But that said, because of that, the 2 tie-ins we're covering come out in the off weeks, where Night Terrors is taking a break from its main story. So I think pretty much every week throughout July and August, we will have at least one Fresh Face One Shot coming out.
Yes,
which is really, really cool, and I'm really excited to do that because if the rest of the event is like this first issue, I think we're in for a treat. And also, it helps that you've really been enjoying the work of Joshua Williamson lately.
I have. Joshua Williamson, I think it feels like he's going to be a big player in DC for a while, and I think that's a good thing.
Most definitely. So, all right, let's jump into this. Night Terrors First Blood. So, you had a fun little surprise at the start here, Mr. Big Sandman fan over here.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I also recognized on the cover, in the back left corner of the cover.
Yeah, Wesley Dodds.
This is one Wesley Dodds.
Wesley Dodds, who has nothing to do with the story yet. He's on the cover, but he's the only one of the main cover characters that don't show up here in this issue.
Yes. So we have John D, aka Dr. Destiny, aka I don't know how do I okay, so I've read The Sandman, so I know
you have read The
Sandman.
Yes. And speaking of the Sandman, we have a lot of cool Sandman things on the channel. We have 2 scenes that I performed as Dream with my friend Taya, as Dream and Death. You can go check those out. And we have a podcast episode on the Sandman Netflix series, season 1. We're going to hopefully be doing another scene from the comic very soon. And also, on the main Fresh Face Comics, coming up after our Green Arrow Year 1 episode, we're covering Sandman Preludes and Nocturnes, which is really exciting. So, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut that off for an ad so early, but it's very relevant here. So.
It's relevant because there are at least, there are a good couple of subtle Sandman references, other than Dr. Destiny, I feel like. That Williamson slips in. I have a feeling in this event at some point, Dream and Death might show up.
I'm inclined to doubt that and not get my hopes up, but also the only thing that's making me kind of doubt my own doubts in my head is with how much new Sandman content there is currently coming out.
Because there's
Nightmare Country and all that.
Yeah, because Nightmare Country's happening. Isn't there also the Dreaming, or is that?
I think so, yeah. I haven't been keeping up with any of the current Sandman stuff. And I really should be, because I'm a big Sandman fan, obviously. But yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me, but at the same time, I'm not going to get my hopes up. So I'm gonna just tame myself in this case. But we had a great opening sequence here where John D is dreaming about being with his wife and kids and all that, and they all turn into horror monsters, and it's great. And
Howard Porter's art goes.
Howard Porter is such a great artist, and he absolutely crushes this first
issue,
especially this first sequence here. It's wonderful.
I don't think we've covered anything by Porter on the podcast yet.
I don't believe so, no. But it's a great first outing for you from him. So yeah, great stuff. Through this nightmare, John D finds himself at the Hall of Justice, a very warped Hall of Justice surrounded by this purple vortex swirling above it, and these messed up trees and other animals around it. A twisted statue of Starro fighting the Justice League. These paintings that these zombie-like Justice Leaguers swarm out of and attack John. It's a beautiful, horrific opening sequence, and it really sets the tone wonderfully for this, going into this brilliant double page title card of Night Terror's First Blood, and it's just it's so good. Gets you pumped, gets you really excited for what you're about to get into. And
I also realized we should also give praise to Brad Anderson, who's doing the interior colors, because they suit the art really well. I'd argue even better than Hi-Fi's colors on the cover.
And I mean, Hi-Fi, we've covered plenty of Hi-Fi coloring jobs on the podcast before, and it's a great cover, but I think Brad Anderson really just captures the feel of Porter's art throughout the interiors, and it's really
yes.
So yeah.
Yes.
But
then we have Deadman.
Deadman, who's great to see. I think the only exposure you have to him is Trinity War, right?
It's Trinity War, and he was fairly okay in that. That was a story with way too many characters vying for attention.
Very much.
But
so.
Here, I like his snark. Like, for a character
I also really love.
Yeah.
I love this opening monologue that he has. This inner monologue about this funeral that he's watching over, and how he finds this that he finds it not to be a sad event as everyone else celebrates this man's life. It's just a really great scene that, if you weren't familiar with Deadman as a character, like you mostly aren't, it really gives you a feel for who he is. And again, also just Boston Brand as a person is, like you mentioned, super snarky and has a lot of fun moments throughout the rest of the issue.
But it also hits on my specific, because the two deaths are like two of my favorite characters in fiction. That's, of course, Neil Gaiman's death from the Sandman, and then Terry Pratchett's death. And the way Deadman is characterized here hits a lot of those similar vibes, but in its own unique way.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to read more Deadman stuff with you, because he genuinely is just one of my favorite, just slightly more obscure DC characters that I'm always super happy when he gets a spotlight like this. So moving on, we catch up with Superman here, who we just see doing Superman-y things, saving a kid and all that.
All looked over by this Deadman monologue that I love, because it's all about, Superman's a character who essentially has come from death with the death of his home planet, and his greatest superpower is the power of his heart. Yeah. Then we go to Wonder Woman, where, she apparently died recently, and everyone died. It was Death of the Justice League. Oh, right, that happened.
Yeah, everyone died. Yeah, it's kind of the whole reason that the Justice League isn't really actually formed right now in current DC. So that's they kind of properly disbanded after that all happened. Here we are. So I keep forgetting that I have to remind you of those little things, because you're not keeping up on absolutely everything that DC is putting out.
I'm not keeping up on absolutely everything, because that's a lot to keep up on.
Indeed. So we get to the Hall of Justice here, and inside we find Batman here, and I love the way this first Batman panel is drawn, with the way that Howard Porter does it, because he just looks nightmarish. I love it. It's awesome.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Also, we get a little reference to what's currently going on in the current Superman and Batman titles. Superman working with Lex, Batman being transported to another dimension, which obviously that second thing you don't know anything about.
Nope.
But we'll get there eventually. We will cover it someday.
The editor's note helpfully says, hopefully you've been reading Batman.
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, to be fair, you have been reading plenty of Batman, just not the Batman they're talking about.
It's just not that one that they're talking about, yes.
Yeah.
And there's this great idea of that an alarm is tripped in the Hall of Justice's vaults, that, these vaults were secure so even Superman couldn't break in. And in the vaults, strapped and almost basically crucified, in a horrific image, is the body of John Dee.
Yep. We get a little history lesson on John Dee and Dr. Destiny, for those that aren't familiar with the character. And then Batman gets a call from Harley Quinn, who is currently at Arkham Tower, which, again, I'm sure must have at least thrown you off just a little bit, because that's another current DC thing, that Arkham isn't necessarily an asylum right now, it's a tower.
That's one thing I could actually pretty much follow, just by the logic of it being called Arkham Tower, that it probably means, Bruce probably did some reforms at Arkham.
Fair enough. But also, Harley Quinn is basically an honorary Bat family member right now, so
that I was aware of.
Yeah. But yeah, so she says that John Dee is also currently here at Arkham Tower, and he is freaking out. He's screaming, and Batman's on his way. Then, meanwhile, before he goes over there, he gets possessed by Deadman, who's been trying to contact Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman this whole time, and the only way that he can do it is by possessing Batman and trying to talk to them through Bruce's body. And I love this imagery that Porter draws when Bruce like forces Deadman out of his body. He basically like throws him up. It's just he really plays around with the art here. It's really nice.
Yeah.
And it's great. But Batman's on his way to Arkham Tower. Superman and Wonder Woman head out as well. Or no, just Superman.
Superman's gonna go to Supercorp to get an idea if anything's changed on a cosmic level.
And
it's
Wonder Woman is
magic.
in contact with Zatanna.
Yes.
Yeah. And meanwhile, as they head out, there's someone watching them from the side of the Hall of Justice, reporting in to Amanda Waller. And I'm sure we'll pick up on that more later. But I'm very curious to see how she ties into it all.
Yeah, Waller being here is interesting.
Yeah.
Because it looks like Waller's also tracking every major superhero based on this panel.
Mm-hmm. A fair few. And then also Ravager's there.
And then Ravager.
Which I did also read the Ravager tie-in, which was written by Ed Brisson, who's writing the Stormwatch stuff in Brave and the Bold. So it didn't necessarily tie into anything from Brave and the Bold, but it's there. So, but yeah, so we make our way to Arkham Tower, and John Dee dies as well there. He lets out this purple gas-looking thing, sludge type thing. And
he's also been raving about the Nightmare Stone, which is made specific as not the Dream Stone, aka Dream's Ruby. So this is something different.
Yeah.
And we basically get a bunch of purple here.
Yeah. He dies looking to be pretty much the same way that he died in the Hall of Justice. He's then very quickly reanimated, and once again, Howard Porter just goes insane with the art. You get some great panels of Dee just, whatever is possessing Dee currently, going throughout the Arkham Tower, just flying against the walls, morphing in and out of it. It looks fantastic. I really, really love it. We don't learn his name yet, right? It's towards the end of the issue.
We learn towards the end of the issue.
Yeah.
And this creature seems to know deep secrets about all our heroes. Knows that there are multiple Robins, knows that at least one of the Robins has died at some point.
Yeah, because he jokes about dying as a Robin. Which Williamson also plays into in the Batman tie-in that came out the same day, which is really fun. But meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice, Wonder Woman and Zatanna and Detective Chimp are looking into John Dee and whatever may have killed him here. Also, Detective Chimp's here. I just wanted to mention that again because you don't know anything about Detective Chimp, but we did actually just mention him because of one of our Twitter questions on the podcast.
We don't need to talk about those Twitter questions, Joey.
Jacob, why? Why would we not mention them? Is it something to do with the type of character we're seeing on this page?
Yeah. We don't need to.
One could say it is a monkey?
I mean, one could say that, but I don't believe chimps are technically monkeys. They're just primates.
Monkey is monkey. Meanwhile, Superman flying through the air. This is the only other hint we get of him throughout the rest of the issue. Is he's just flying through the air. This purple haze takes over, and he falls out of the sky.
And we see basically a bunch of heroes and villains falling asleep into these nightmares, as it spreads across the world. Even Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman all fall. We see this terrifying image of spiders. Harley falls.
And as this gas starts to take over Batman and he starts to fall asleep, he activates this protocol that he says "no sleep till Gotham," which is a great fucking reference. And his heart starts to beat at this irregularly fast pace, it seems, that it boosts his adrenaline, I guess. and as he's sort of fighting off the effects, he is dragged into one of these dreams as well. He becomes this really fucked up looking little Bruce Wayne with these red eyes and all that. I love it. Looks awesome.
Blood dripping from his hands as he faces his parents, as it's hinted. Also, the spiders, not part of the nightmare. There are just giant spiders.
Just giant spiders. Why not? Deadman possesses Batman again to try to fight off these giant spiders, and as this is all happening, the creature that was once, I believe, John Dee, comes back and is speaking to Batman again, talks about who he is. We learn that his name is Insomnia, and that is where we close out our issue as he threatens Batman with this wonderful line, "What do the dead dream about?" And it's a great little cliffhanger here. You described it to me after you finished reading it. You're like, it's a hype issue, but it's a great hype issue.
It's a great hype issue. Like,
yeah, it really is there to just like throw you right into things. You're supposed to have no clue what's going on yet, but even then, like, I still feel like I have a really strong feel for the story already. At the very least, the tone it's going for.
The story has a vibe. And it's a vibe that I particularly love. It also, I think, from the couple of events we've read for the podcast, I think back to Flashpoint and how Flashpoint didn't do a great job of setting up its tie-ins. I think this event does a great job of setting up the tie-ins. Like, it is very clear, like, what the tie-ins are going to be. That they're going to be 2-issue miniseries that focus in on one character and goes into their nightmares. And it's
going to be fun. Like I said, I read a couple of them yesterday, and we're recording this day after it came out. And some of them are really having fun and playing around with the concept. Like I said, the Joker one in particular, I really loved what it did with the concept. I won't spoil anything about it, but just if you're really looking to see this concept utilized to its fullest potential already, you can already see that in the Joker first tie-in that came out yesterday, which was just really awesome. So yeah, or came out Tuesday because we're releasing this. I'm going to try on Thursday, so
I'm trying Thursday.
We'll see how that goes. So
well, we will see. We will see how that goes because
I believe in myself. All right. I guess that was Night Terror's First Blood.
Yeah, it? I'm excited to see where it goes. So, just to make sure our listeners know, next week we will be doing. It is next week, correct?
Yeah, Night Terror is number 1. Yep.
Night Terror is number 1. Right. And then the week after, we'll be doing Night Terror Superman number 1.
Yes. Yeah. I believe that's how they come out. But yeah, that sounds right.
Yes.
So yeah, be on the lookout for those. We're only covering the 2 Superman tie-ins because we're reading Williamson's Superman right now, and I don't know if it'll actually tie into anything from his run, but at the very least, it's Williamson writing Superman, and we're big fans of that. So
yes.
Yeah. Also, I believe Brave and the Bold also has 2 regular issues throughout these 2 months because it's not really tying into anything. So
yes, it's so that'll be you'll get.
So those will still be regularly coming out throughout the 2 months in addition to our Night Terrors content. So yeah, we have a busy 2 months ahead of us.
We have a very busy.
But I'm very excited because I really love where this event is beginning. So
yes, awesome. Yes, I'm excited. I also am super glad that this doesn't feel like it's going to be an event with like canon altering stakes. It seems, at least on the surface, like it's just doing something really fun and something that Williamson seems like really passionate about. Yeah. Fun on a big scale, but not a too big scale.
Yeah. So, as always, be sure to follow us on our socials and whatever. I'll leave our link trees down in the description below because Twitter is imploding right now. And what else? Be sure to subscribe to the channel, Blood Donut Studios. Check us out there.
You've had a big jump in subscribers recently, I've noticed.
Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from, but I appreciate it. It really is appreciated. Thank you all so much for the influx of subscribers recently. It really means a lot, especially for a small channel like mine. So yeah, it's awesome. So thank you all so much for watching. I guess until next time, this has been Joey Morgan
and Jacob Licklider.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.